What is going on, guys? Today I bring you another episode of the Journey to National Master, and this round is round 7 of Open Figure the Force. So far, I've been having the best tournament of 2023 because we're still covering those games. And yeah, I got paired up against Arturo Ramon, a Spanish player, 1963 ELO, so very strong compared to me. And yeah, I was feeling good, feeling confident, and let's see how the game went. So my opponent started with d4. I went d5. He went c4. I went e6. Typical Queen's Gambit. And after knight c3, I decided to play c5. And I believe that this is the first time in this journey that I played the Tarrasch defense. And yeah, we got a pretty common Tarrasch position after c takes d5, e takes on d5, knight f3, knight f6, g3, knight c6. And yeah, I knew that my opponent played d4 mostly, but I didn't really expect a specific thing against the rush. I kind of just prepared all over the variations. But yeah, I have to point out one quick thing is that it was horrible to play this game against this specific player. I mean, I have to be honest. This player was constantly just making noises and tweaking, and bro, I was like, and he smelled so much of cigarettes, and I hate that type of smell and stuff like that. It was horrible to play this game, honestly. But yeah, it's something that happens not that often, fortunately. But yeah, sometimes you have to deal with that, and I was like, damn, bro, like this is gonna be like a 3-4 hour game, bro. This is gonna be painful. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's just weird. I mean, he was like nervous all the time. He's just making faces. It was kind of crazy. But okay, let's go back to the game. But yeah, it is what it is. My opponent played bishop g2. I played bishop e7. My opponent castled. I castled, and he took on c5. I could have gone for the more trendy, instead of bishop e7, I could have gone for c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, and bishop c5. This is the so-called Dubov Tarrasch, which is very, very trendy, but I haven't studied the Dubov Tarrasch. So yeah, I just went for the more standard bishop e7, castles, and now my opponent takes on c5. I take back, plays knight a4. I play bishop back to e7. So far, I was prepared for all of this, and my opponent was also prepared. We weren't spending too much time. I think he was spending a little bit more time than me, um, which is it is expected because I never played the Tarashi. Was probably surprised by that, which is normal. Here my opponent played bishop e3, and bishop e3 I didn't quite remember this move, bishop e3. Um but yeah, I decided to go for bishop g4, which is the correct move according to my preparation. And yeah, after rook ac1 by my opponent, I just played rook ac8 quickly, and now my opponent played h3. And yeah, I didn't remember exactly what my preparation was here. I didn't remember if I should drop back to h5, to f5, or if I should take. But after thinking for a while, I decided to take on f3. I had some recollection of taking on f3 in some positions. Bishop takes on f3, and here I played knight e4, which is a big mistake. Here, yeah, I should have gone d4, which is the more forcing line, which leads to equal endgame. But yeah, we'll come back to this later. So after bishop f3, I play knight e4. And yeah, the idea of knight e4 was to control the c5 square better, and to also not let my opponent have pressure on d5 just by blocking uh this bishop here. And okay, my pieces look very active. Maybe next I can play queen a5 or something like that, and I should be fine. Here my opponent played bishop takes on e4, which I was happy to see. D takes on e4. And now my opponent played knight c3. And yeah, he's putting pressure here on e4. If I trade queens, let's say like this doesn't look very good. After f5, my pawn has rook d7, and all okay, we have equal material, but my opponent is way too active, and this is not what I want. So after knight c3, I just played bishop f6, and the idea was that okay, if my opponent takes here on e4, I just take on b2, and yeah, we have an interesting position here. But my opponent, after bishop f6, took on e4, and he offered the draw, and I accepted. So yeah, the quickest game of the tournament so far for sure. It was a very quick draw, which I was happy because I mean I'm playing black against a stronger opponent, and as I said, the atmosphere of the game wasn't the best. So yeah, I was very happy with this. So let me just go back. So here after bishop takes on f3 here, knight e4 is not good because of queen b3. This would be a very annoying move for me. My opponent is putting pressure on b7, still putting pressure on d5, also planning to put a rook on d1, and all of a sudden I might be in a bit of trouble here. But let's go back here. What is in my preparation, which I forgot during the game, is d4. d4 is a very forcing move, which kind of, kills the game almost. So yeah, let's see how this kills the game. So here, okay, I'm attacking the bishop on e3. My opponent should take on c6 with bishop. If my opponent plays something like bishop f4, this is not something that I have to worry about. I can just play queen d7, add a layer of protection to the knight on c6, also planning to bring a rook to d8. So yeah, not something special. Bishop g5 comes down to almost the same thing. I think I can go queen d7, but I can also just go queen a5, which is even more active, putting pressure here, and also vacating the square, the d8 square. So here, okay, my opponent should take on c6. Now I take on e3, important. And here there's options that white has. Okay, opponent takes here on d8. I take back with the rook on d8. Now my opponent takes here on b7. I take on f2. King takes on f2, and just rook d4. Okay, I'm down a pawn, but my opponent's structure is not the prettiest, and also my pieces are quite active. I'm gonna bring another rook, maybe to d8, maybe to b8. This knight is offside. This bishop is not the greatest here, and yeah, everything is fine. I guess if my opponent, instead of taking the queen on d8, takes on b7, for example, this is already a mistake, because after rook takes on c1, my opponent has to capture back the rook, and now I get queen d7, attacking the knight, attacking the bishop, and attacking h3, and my opponent would be forced to play something like queen c6, and now I can take it on h3, and now I'm actually better. So even though it looks that it's a very equal position, there's a lot of ways that my opponent can go wrong. But yeah, if my opponent plays the correct moves, queen takes on d8, rook takes on d8, bishop takes on b7, here actually, maybe instead of taking immediately on d8, I can actually play this move here, which is more tricky. Because now if my opponent takes with the rook, I'm actually winning after rook f takes on d8, because there's a pin here, and this bishop is attacked. So I would be winning here. But yeah, my opponent should take with the king, and now rook c takes on d8, bishop takes on b7, and rook d4 should be enough to actually give me, compensation. And yeah, I think I would have drawn this game. But yeah. So this was the episode, very quick one compared to what we normally get here on this channel. But yeah, I was happy to test the Tarrasch defense for the first time. It worked out pretty well. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.